Ladies and gentlemen.
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 Can I please have your attention?
Right now, showtime. Are you ready? Are you ready for start time?
Let's find out. Ready, set, go.
Ladies and gentlemen, get your popcorn ready, sit back, relax, because it's about time for Chatting with George Noonan. Oh, yeah. Hey everybody, welcome back to Chatting with George Noonan. I'm sitting here with my friend Larry Burns. We're going to watch some UFC fights tonight. And Larry, I gotta ask, I hope I get the answer wrong, but you have a history of when we meet to watch UFC fights of getting lost. Tell me you stopped that trend.
No, I did not.
No.
I did get lost once again. I tried to go 128 instead of going through Boston.
Yeah.
And there's a couple times, actually I got lost more than once, but I have a tendency to take a turn sooner than I should.
Okay.
Like, if it's anything less than a mile, like when it's getting close to like the end, like 0.4, 0.2, something like that, I panic and I'll turn. And I turned a couple times, actually not too far from here. I turned off on a street, and then I had to take a couple of side streets just to get back on track again. But no, I have not bucked that trend. I am still getting lost.
But in your defense, you've never been to my house. You've never been to my home.
No, I have
so.
not been out to the Noonan residence.
We're in the garage, of course. But,
Yes.
But you got lost on the way to Hooters one day.
That was bad.
That was, yeah. Then there was the time. Actually, that was the same time that you thought we were meeting in Hanover at Buffalo Wild Wings to watch the fights, and I called you and I said, "Hey, oh, you called me and said, where are you?" I'm like, "I'm right in front, dude. What? I didn't see you walk in." You're like, "No, I'm back here." I'm like, "Wait, you're in Hanover, aren't you?" Because I knew that you.
We had a few times that we met at the same Buffalo Wild Wings. So I'm sure you said Hooters, but all I heard was Buffalo Wild Wings.
Sometimes that's all anyone hears.
Yeah, because I have a tendency to not listen when people talk to me, and it's a very bad habit of mine. But
Well, I'm glad you're on my podcast. Though.
yes,
this
absolutely.
should work out well.
So if you ask me a question and I talk about something else, then you know what happened.
I'll roll with it.
Exactly.
I'll go with you. But the point is that you got here, and we're going to watch the fights. I'm not going to make this all about the UFC, but I insisted on just getting this over with, not over with, but right into it, so we don't get bored with our conversation. So what fights are you looking for tonight for the UFC fans out there? I'm assuming, obviously, Poirier Hooker. That's the fights we're gonna watch.
That is correct.
All right. Are there any ones that you even know? Or do you even know the card? Or you just going in blindly?
Honestly, I have not even really looked at the card besides that. I was more focused on the July 11th.
Yes.
And there's been so many cards that, Dana White I believe he's had a card every single week.
For the most part,
Yeah, for the last few months, which has been great. Because
Well, you know why, though? I don't mean to cut you off, but the reason is because he had, with his ESPN contract, he has to hit a certain amount. And with the COVID, he lost 2 or 3 a month. So now he's making it all up so he can get that, I think it's $750 million bonus.
Yes.
So that's the reason it's happening. Not that it's not great, but
I'm looking forward to it. It's the only real thing we have to watch right now.
yes, true.
I'm not really I'm not into soccer. I am looking forward to the hopeful return of the NBA, NHL, even the MLB.
Anything with 3 letters you're into.
Exactly. NFL.
NFL, yep.
Yep. Any of that stuff. But this has been great, and I'm looking forward to the whole Fight Island thing. That's for sure.
Did you see my shirt?
I did not, but that is fantastic.
Check out the back. See Khabib's Sen location? I think it's on this side.
Not to take over George's podcast, but for those of you listening, it says UFC Fight Island.
Yes, it does.
That is fantastic.
Yeah, this is the bottle, Sen location.
There's a bottle that says Sun Location.
That's Khabib's line.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, my wife got me that. She got herself one and myself another one. And myself one? She got me another one and she got herself one. But it's stuck in Brockton like most good things that go through Brockton, they get stuck there. So that's where that is.
Absolutely.
But I digress. This one made it out alive. So
That's
we'll see.
fantastic.
Yeah. Well, I wore
a
this.
great shirt.
I wore this especially tonight. I got this last week.
Nice.
This is my contribution to you, my welcoming gift to you, Larry. You could look at my shirt. But you and I have been to a couple Bellator fights. I've been to a bunch before. Well, not a bunch, 4 or 5.
I went to one with you.
Just one. It feels like it's been more. We were going to March 13th.
That was the second one, yeah. But then the whole COVID thing took over, and
I'll never forget that phone call. You called me up like the Thursday. We were gonna go Friday. You called me up Thursday and said I can't go because if I do, I have to quarantine for 2 weeks when I get back. And I was like, why?
Seemed
I didn't
crazy
get it
at the time.
At the time, it was the best thing. They canceled it anyway, so it didn't matter. But I just remember feeling bad because I think you thought I was pissed at you. But I wasn't. I was pissed. I wasn't even pissed. I was just like, it was a situation. It wasn't.
I was aggravated myself
Oh, of course.
because I had such a good time the last time we went. It was great,
It was a blast.
and I look forward to going back. And hopefully, sometime when we have some sort of a normal, atmosphere, we can go back there again. It would be great. But yeah, I mean, there was nothing like watching a card live.
Yeah.
and there was so many fights.
And it's almost like, I don't want to say the UFC rejects, but the people who defect or defunct, I don't know, either way, defect to Bellator, they will headline the cards. So every card I've gone to, the day before they have the weigh-ins, I know you know this, I'm just saying this for the people who may not know, at Mohegan, they do by the box office, they do the weigh-ins, and the guys will come out, and the ladies, Paige Van Zandt, you saw my picture with her.
Sorry, I missed that.
Yep. She was great. She's not even fighting. That's her husband that's fighting in the Bellator.
That's right.
Which she might be as well after
She's a
this
free
next
agent.
fight. Yes, she will be. But they come out. I got to tell you a Chael Sonnen story too. I may or may not have told you this. This is where I'm going with this. And the guys come out. My first time there, that's when I had the ringside seats, and they're not as good as the ones we get now because there's things that are blocking. Whatever. I digress. But I was sitting in my seat because we were early. My friend Angel and his wife went with me, and the three of us were ringside, pretty much 4th row back. And I only wanted to see Chael Sonnen. I mean, obviously, I wanted to see everybody, but that was my main thing. And the night before, they had the weigh-ins. They all come out, and I got King Mo, Big John McCarthy, Hoist Gracie, my first Hoist Gracie meeting. But I've seen him 5 or 6 times now, and everywhere I go, he won't leave me alone. He calls me. He can't stop. I got to get his training order. We probably actually now I'm leading to another story with you about Hoist Gracie, but with Chael. We walked up to go into the fights that night, the Saturday night, and we walked by a little radio. So they're doing a live radio station, radio show about the UFC at Bellator at Mohegan. Not the UFC, I'm sorry, the Bellator at Mohegan. And I'm wearing a team. Remember, Chael Sonnen coached the UFC Tough Ultimate
yeah.
Fighter, and I had he's the only person I got the sweatshirt for, and I wore the sweatshirt because I think it was in I don't know, it was a cold month. It was worthy of a sweatshirt. And the guy goes, "Hey, Team Sonnen, you just missed him. He was just right here." I'm like, "Oh, are you serious? Like, you got to be kidding me!" Because he wasn't there the night before for the weigh-ins because he was announcing at the time. So we get to our seats early because front row. We want to be there pretty much, not front row, but pretty close to front row. And so I see Jen Brown. She's the blonde, the equivalent of Megan O'Leary, who does the interviews with people, and she's your typical hot blonde who knows about the sport, but. That's who she is. And so I walk up to them, I'm like, I'm going to get her. Plus Mike Goldberg was there. Goldie.
Oh yeah.
What's his catchphrase? Coming up next. But I was thinking of the other one. Virtually identical. That's the two things he always says. And I got Goldie, and I said to Jen Brown, hey, and she's like, yeah, just give me 1 second. I'm doing this again. No problem. Take your time. So I'm standing there. And all of a sudden I see out of my peripheral, I see a guy get up on the ramp to come down. It's Chael Sonnen. There's nobody in the arena really because we're open. We're in there as soon as we can. And granted, there's probably 400 or 500 people, but in a place like that, it feels like you're alone. So I go, Chael, and he looks over at me. He's got coffee in his hand, and I point to the sleeve that says Team Sonnen. And I go like this. He goes, absolutely, no problem. So he comes over, he sits down, and he's talking to me. And I'm like, hey, big fan, whatever, blah blah blah. And he couldn't, he's a heel in the UFC. He was a heel, and it was just an act. But anyways, he couldn't be nicer. So I believe you've seen the picture I took with him. I took a selfie with Chael Sonnen, but. He was behind me. I turned so my back was to the ring, so he couldn't have to do anything. And I'm about to take the picture, and I hear him go, two good-looking guys, and I just started laughing. And so when you see my face, I'm not like cheesy smiling. I'm actually laughing because he got me. I wasn't expecting to hear anything, but he couldn't have been the nicest. He couldn't have been nicer. He was.
I like hearing stories like that because, especially, like you said, the role that he plays. He plays a bad guy.
Yeah.
Or he would have been perfect, a WWE villain, heel, and without a question, to hear a story like that he was, he's a good guy. I like to hear that because, you do meet some of these guys that are jerks. So
Yeah, they can be. Brian Bader was the only guy who ever walked right through and didn't stop to take. I don't care if you don't take a picture with me because I'm not 12, but. There's, sometimes it's not little kids, but there's younger guys. You should anyways, I think, if you're there. That's what you're there for, to promote the thing. But, he just walked right. He couldn't care less. He was kind of a jerk about it because people were asking him, and he was just like not shoving them, but, brushing by them.
which is funny because he wasn't fantastic. I mean, he was a good fighter in UFC, but he wasn't.
No, it wasn't great.
No, that's great. You're the best in the junior division. Good for you.
Right. The
AAA.
I was just really, yeah, exactly. The Paw Sox I was going for. The Hoist Gracie story. You want to tell it? Go for it. Mohegan, when you got your opportunity to meet Hoist Gracie, who for those who don't know is a pioneer of the sport. He's on the Mount Rushmore of all MMA fighters. Hoist Gracie.
I still have a lot of people that see that picture on my Facebook, or I was sending it out to some of my friends because I was so excited that I got that picture, and they're all like, "Who's that guy?" And I was just like, I'm like, that hurts. You don't know who that is?
I know, right? And I will put I will put both pictures on the website. I mean, the Facebook page of my podcast, so the people will know what we're talking about. But when we were going to get a drink, we were going to where were we going? We were going to not Starbucks. We were going to. Did we go to Dunkin' Donuts? Is that what it was?
I think it was Dunkin's.
All right. And you want to take it or do you want me to take it?
No, because honestly, it sounds like you remember it more than I do.
Oh, okay. All right. So we were talking and I was bragging about, joke bragging about how, it's just a matter of time before we bump into Hoist Gracie, blah, blah, blah. And we went to get coffee on the second floor and they ran out of something. I forget what the circumstance was, but we couldn't get it. I was so psyched because you were staying over. I wasn't. And I was so excited because I'm telling you, this is the coffee place that's open 24 hours, blah, 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 blah. They had like nothing available. So we're like, all right, well, do you want to go to Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts? And I think you chose Dunkin' Donuts. Yep. So we walked downstairs from the second floor and we went down to the Dunkin' Donuts area by Jersey Mike's and we passed Starbucks. And I said to you off the cuff, and I thought you knew, I go, oh yeah, by the way, that's Hoist Gracie. You went, what? Huh? What? I'm like, we just passed Hoist Gracie. You go, what? Huh? We'll get him on the way back. Don't worry about it, because he was on the phone, so I didn't stop.
That's right.
Otherwise. And then we went back, and I went, here we go. So we got our picture taken with Hoist Gracie. I told him, obviously I'm not telling him what I'm telling you. I told him, excuse me, sir, may I please have another selfie with you, kind sir? But, afterwards, it's, the guy's following me around everywhere. But so then you got your picture with Hoist Gracie. He came out really good. And, yeah, that's something I would keep forever as well.
I was really excited, and it's official because I have one of those Alexas that has the pictures.
Oh,
and it's in there.
Nice.
So that makes it official. It's an official picture.
That's right.
So, yeah, I mean that was without a question. That was a fantastic trip, and I was looking forward to going again, and I'm still looking forward to it. So I know that there'll be a point where we can go see a live show again. But I mean, in the meantime, at least there's fights to watch. So
right, and the UFC fights are just kind of the too expensive, and that's how I started because I could have went to UFC in Boston, but the bad seats were like hundreds of dollars. I mean, more than what we paid for front. Wait, how much? Yeah. I'm sorry. The bad seats were way more expensive than the seats that we had. We usually get the front row balcony. I went from the ringside wasn't that great, so I try to get the front row balcony now. So there's nobody in front of us. You've seen it. It's really good. And those are like, what are they, like 110 after everything's all said and done?
Yeah.
Whereas for 110 at a UFC show, you might get a T-shirt. I mean, it's insane. So I'm just like, I'll just never go because it's not worth it.
It's not. And I still have my, I think it was a $70 Bellator sweatshirt.
Yes, you got a sweatshirt. That's right.
I still have it.
I hope
one of my favorites.
Yeah, and that's they have good stuff too. I mean, like I said, it's all UFC guys for the most part, but even the ones that aren't, like Pitbull. When I was in the front row, I caught the front row, but I was on the edge of the ramp when they walked down, and Pitbull, who was one of their high-profile fighters, has always been Bellator, I believe, maybe somewhere else Pride or something, but but he's Bellator's. He's a champ for Bellator, and he was walking down the ring, and he was coming right towards me, and he looked around, and I went left, and he kind of stopped. He hesitated. He looked left, and I'm going like this, like on my hand raised, like give me a high five. He walks over, gives me a high five, and I saw it on TV, so I took a snapshot of the TV of him giving me the high five. So
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I was on. I think it was Spike at the time, but now it's Paramount. But that was pretty cool because I didn't get to see him the night before. I forget why I saw him, but I don't think he came out. I think he went out the back door. I don't know what the circumstances were, but I didn't get to see him. But yeah, I was hoping to get a bunch of people. Well, we ran into Joe Lozon, Bridgewater's own Joe Lozon.
That was a favorite of mine. That was actually a surprise, and that
Now,
was.
you can tell this one. I'm sure you remember this.
All I remember is we were going into a restaurant,
Yes.
and we went in there, and I have a gluten intolerance, and there wasn't really anything on the menu for me to eat, so we ended up leaving. And then we ended up somewhere else. I think we were trying to decide where we were going to go at that point. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Joe Lozon just walks by. And it was another thing. I was kind of starstruck when I saw him. And I was like, oh my, I'm trying to get my phone out because you're a pro at this. You were all set to go. Boom, you had it. It's like you were ready. And all of a sudden, I was like, can I have one too? And he's like, yeah. And I'm sitting there and I'm fumbling with my phone. And the picture, I mean, it wasn't a terrible picture. But
No, it's a good one. That's all right. It's a good
but it
one.
was, you could tell I was just kind of like, oh my God, because I didn't want him to, he was nice enough to stop, so I
Right.
didn't want him to get mad or anything. But he was great.
Yeah, he stopped right away. I was like, Joe Lozon. He stopped, turned around, and said, hey, like act like he knew us. Hey, how's it going? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, my wife's a big fan. She went to Bridgewater. Blah, blah. I'm a fan too, obviously, but, and I think I'd name the wife and let her know that it's, I'm not some just douche who wants to pick a picture with him, even though I was. But no, he couldn't have been nicer either. He wasn't even fighting. He was cornering a guy that night. So we got to see him. And the Paige Van Zandt thing was funny because her husband was fighting the night, and she went to the weigh-ins. I don't think she was there at the actual weigh-ins, but she was behind the door. And when they both came out, I'm like, oh my, I gotta get Paige Van Zandt. I mean, come on. So I walked down there, and I felt bad for the dude because nobody's paying attention to this guy. And I know his name's Austin, but I don't care about Austin, whatever his name is.
He could have been Stone Cold Steve
He
Austin.
could
It
have
wouldn't
been
have
Stone
mattered.
Cold Steve Austin. I'd be like, yeah, I'm going to go with Paige Van Zandt. So,
Yep.
and she could have been, she looked at him like, but she was cool. She was very cool. She took the picture. And then I went up to him. I said, hey, man, I'm wishing you luck tomorrow night. Good luck. He ended up winning. He's actually undefeated right now.
Yeah.
He's a good fighter. And when she fights her next fight, she's going to test the waters. And I think her plan, much like Brady going to Tampa Bay, I think it's their plan all along to get her to Bellator. And,
Which should be good. It'll give you another reason to watch Bellator.
well, yeah, and when we go, he always fights. And I've seen him fight a couple of times, and she always corners him too. So she's in the ring. Not in the ring, but she'll probably fight in the same card.
I think he was going to be on the card that we were going to again.
He was.
Yeah.
There's a couple guys.
And Daly, too.
Yeah, I've seen Paul Daly a couple times. I've seen Matt Mitrione somehow is on every single card I go there. He is wicked cool. I took a picture of him and I was like, hey, I didn't call him Meat. That's his nickname. But I was like, hey, Matt, oh yeah, sure, of course. And I took the picture, and it was like goofy looking. I'm like, oh. He goes, what? He goes, I go, don't worry about it. He goes, no, what happened? He goes, this came out. Don't worry. I don't want to wait. Take another picture. I'm like, okay. So he was really cool about it. And for the most part, they all are, except for Bader.
Yeah.
Baby Slice, Kimbo's kid.
That's right.
Met
He
him.
fought on the card we went to.
Yeah, I've seen him fight twice.
Yeah. And then he got disqualified after, right? Didn't he? He got popped for something. He tested
I
positive.
think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Odds are good on that.
Yeah. But that was a good card.
Yeah. They're all
The
great.
worst fight was the main event.
Yes. That's right.
McDonald Lima.
Yes.
Tattoo.
Yes. I actually went to one weekend. I went to one where they were both Saturday and Sunday night at Mohegan. I ended up staying over and I went to both shows. And the first night was really good. But the second was going to be, that was MVP versus Daly. And you could hear a pin drop. They were awful. They were both afraid to throw punches. And that's usually how fights go. You throw a punch or two, but they decided not to for whatever reason. And it was just a snore fest. And the whole card was off. That was when I think Mitrione got DQ'd for kneeing some guy in the apple sack, and that's not fun, no matter how you look at it. And they ended up rematching at another card, but The whole card, like just the good thing about Bellator though is they give you like 15 undercard fights. So like if you're watching on TV, it starts at 9 or 10, whatever. You see like 5 supposedly their best fights. But before that, we've been watching since 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
Or 6
We
or
got
whatever
there
time it is.
Right after dinner, we went over
Yeah,
there.
exactly.
And, yeah, we were there till after. It had to be after midnight.
Yeah.
It was great. There were a lot of good fights.
Yeah, no, they really do it well because you usually with boxing you get the main event and maybe 1 or 2 on the undercard, and that's it. If the 3 of them suck, that's too bad. But with Bellator, there's like 15, then the 5, so you see about 20 fights, and they're usually pretty good. Now, I know you're a huge hockey fan. I'm sure people who don't know the UFC have already shut us off by now, but whatever. You got a Bruins shirt on. How are you looking? You excited? The playoffs?
I couldn't be happier.
Quick mini season, then the playoffs.
Couldn't be happier. It was as a Bruins fan, it was a really good season, and it was shaping up to be. I mean, last year was a very big disappointment, losing in in Game 7, and they looked like they were poised to make another run at it. Especially when a team goes so deep in the playoffs the year before, they usually run out of gas, or maybe the year after, don't have a great season, but they looked like they were getting stronger as it was going on. The last game that they had before got shut down was against Philly, a 2-0 game. It was playoff atmosphere, and I couldn't be happier. I'm just waiting to find out what the hub city is going to be, and I'm ready to get it going. I mean, I'm not happy about the round robin thing where they actually have to play for position now.
Right.
But I mean, it doesn't really matter at this point because there's no home ice advantage. It's all the same. So it's just all about matchups. So whoever they end up playing, I know a lot of people are freaking out because of the fact that Montreal still has an outside chance of getting in, and a lot of people are still seeing ghosts over them. But
Yeah.
I'm not worried about it. Claude Julien's the coach over there, so I'm good with it. If they play Montreal, I'm fine with it.
Yeah. It's funny. I always laughed about the Claude Julien thing because everybody wanted him fired at all times, and they were always competitive. They want a Stanley Cup with the guy, and even the next season, they're like, "All right, now can he go? Like now that we won the cup, can we get rid of him now?"
He was 2 games, and in the shirt that I'm wearing,
Yeah.
the 2011 Stanley Cup with the sleeves cut off.
Yes, sir. Looking good, by the way.
Thank you. But he was 2 games away. They were down 2-0 in that opening series against Montreal that year. 2 games away from getting fired.
Crazy, right?
And they came back, and that was a great run. And but that's how close he was. And then 2013, same thing. Disappointment.
Yes.
And then 2000 last year, disappointment. But no, I mean they have. That's why this season to me is so important because they have a couple of good runs left in them. And some of the Bergeron guy, it seems like he's been playing for like 50 years.
Right.
Everybody, a lot of people forget how young he was when he came up. And he's getting up there. He's had a lot of injuries. He's still playing great. But this core only has a couple runs left. A couple of years left in him. So every year is important.
Now, do you feel like you alluded to it a little bit, but we were in first place. The Bruins were in first place, and it looked like they were going to end up first or close to it, anyways. Do you think that this right now levels the playing field, or do you just not even care? Give me some hockey.
Oh, honestly, I don't care what. I want to see them go deep.
Yeah.
But I don't care. I'm starving for hockey right now. I'm starving for anything.
Right.
Like I said, I'm glad that even baseball. I mean, with how gross the whole posturing was by both sides. I mean, I didn't even care if baseball came back, but I'm glad that they're back now that they are.
Sure.
I mean, I'll even watch that.
Yeah.
Even though I think the Red Sox are going to be trashed this year, but
They very well
besides
might be.
that, I'm starving for all the 3-letter sports. So,
I love 3-letter sports.
yeah.
Too bad. Sorry, WNBA, but I would watch that too. I mentioned Tom Brady earlier. What are your thoughts on that? Let's just run the gamut. We'll get to the Celtics after this, but
So I'm probably gonna make a lot of people mad.
okay, we're all friends
But
here.
my whole thing is, I love what he did. I mean, obviously, what a great run, 20 years. I mean, it's unheard of. It's unheard of in any sport. But I mean, what the Patriots were able to do in this run was unbelievable. And the fact that, now that he's gone, and you have a lot of people. I mean, there's 2 sides. There's the people that are mad at Belichick, and then the people that are mad at Brady. And to me, it just seems like there's more people mad at Belichick than they are at Brady. See, I've been a Patriots fan since, I want to say, the early 80s. And I remember listening to the games on the radio with my father.
Because he had no choice.
Because they were blacked out.
Yeah.
And anybody who's, been around for the last 20 years they're like blacked out. What does that even mean? It's when you don't sell enough tickets for the game to be broadcast on television. And that used to happen to the Patriots all the time.
Consistently, yeah.
And I just remember watching some game. Like, I remember I used to watch Earl Campbell all the time.
Nice.
Because Houston used to be on TV all the time, and he was one of my favorites back then. But I remember watching, I'd be watching, whatever game they had on TV, and then at the same time, I'm listening to the Patriots. And, so I grew up a Patriots fan. And, Brady was on the team, and obviously they couldn't do it without him. The guy's the greatest quarterback to ever play the game. But he's gone.
Right.
So I'm not one of those people that's going to
Tom Brady's not walking through that door.
Tom Brady is not
Rick
walking through
Pitino.
this garage door. And so he's gone. So now I'm a Patriots fan. Go Stidham. I hope Stidham turns into the next Tom Brady. I really hope he does. I mean, the chances of that are very slim. And who knows, maybe it's going to take them 4 or 5 years to find the guy. They got lightning in the bottle with Brady, 6th-round pick. It was absolutely ridiculous, for him to be as good as he was. But he was a game manager when he first started. He didn't really start picking up, steam on his stats till 2007. I mean, that's when he really blew up. So if Stidham can be a game manager, I think that they have a chance to still be, really good. I think Brady, in a lot of ways, and I know this is going to be an unpopular view with everyone, I think the last couple of years, he quit on the team. I just think that his heart wasn't in it. I think that he didn't want to meet with a lot of these receivers and, put the work in. And then last year, I mean, it showed on the field. He was kind of half-assing it, as far as, everyone's saying N'Keal Harry, which is all this stuff bugs me. Sony Michel was a bad pick. He's a bust. N'Keal Harry's a bust. I don't know how the kid can be a bust after like half a season. I think he's going to be good. It looks like his work ethic is going to be, really well. He's putting the work in. So I think that, they have a chance to be a little bit better offensively this year. I mean, I still think if you had to, put me on the spot right now for record-wise, I would say probably 9-7 with a chance to go 10-6. And with that extra playoff spot this year, I think they're gonna sneak in the playoffs.
Do you think they win the AFC East?
I think they have a good chance to win it. If you want to ask me right now, the Buffalo Bills are still the Buffalo Bills, and until they prove to me that they're not a bunch of chokers, with Allen, the interception machine at quarterback, I'm going to give it to them. I'm going to say, yeah, the Patriots are going to win the East.
That's not a bad.
I think their defense is still going to be good. I think some of these kids, that kid Oost that they got from Michigan, he's going to be a beast. Watch out for him. And I just think that they have one of the best secondaries in football, and all I heard on the offseason was trade Gilmore to get pieces for him. Why would you trade one of the best players? I mean, I'm not even talking about cornerback, best players in football.
Right.
You're going to trade him? It's not time to blow up.
No, it's definitely not. Especially since you just made mention of it. Brady did not win the Super Bowl. Brady didn't lose the Super Bowl. All those games.
2018?
No. It's the first one.
Oh yeah.
When he took over for Drew Bledsoe,
Yep.
they game managed it, and just don't give the ball over. Just we'll play to our strengths, and the defense will. And that's what they did, and it worked.
They had a really good defense that year.
It worked. That's what Belichick will give you. Everyone says Belichick's worth at least 2 to 3 wins a season, and that's why. I don't care what your name is. Matt Castle stepped in and won 11 games, but we didn't make the playoffs. That was an anomaly.
Yeah.
We won 11 games with Matt Castle.
That was ridiculous.
Yeah.
That season, there was a couple of games early on where Castle was getting his feet wet that they had some problems. And I think that if they could have got it together just a little bit sooner, I think even in the playoffs they would have been one of those teams that you didn't want to play.
Sure.
I don't think that they were good enough to beat the Steelers that year without Tom Brady. Okay. But I do think that they could have very well been an AFC Championship team.
Yeah. No, I agree. And you never know. Once you get the goal is to get to the playoffs, then it's all bets are off. Just ask Baltimore. they steamrolled through, and then they thought they had it won, and KC said, "Nah, we'll take that from you, thank you."
And both of those two teams, Kansas City and Baltimore, I can't stand. I can't stand either team.
Oh, you're a Pats fan, sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, just based on the fact too that Kansas City, before they even won last year, they were talking like they were, a dynasty. And it's like, you what did you win? You haven't won anything yet. You got beat at home the year before by the Patriots. To a team that, don't get me wrong. I mean, if you want to ask me too, like Super Bowl victories, that was probably my favorite because it was so unexpected.
Which one?
The last one, 2018.
Oh, okay.
Because that team they looked like they were dead in the water. They just lost in Pittsburgh, 17-7. They were going in the wrong direction. They actually had to get a bye because the Houston Texans, who have a history of choking, choked. So that's how they backed into the second seed. And they had two good games at the end of the season against the Jets, and I think it was Buffalo and the Jets to end the season. And they put on dominant performances, but of course you get sports radio. Who did they play
Right.
at the end there? They played two crap teams, and they looked good against them. They could finally run the ball. Then they get in the playoffs against San Diego, and just absolutely dusted that team. They just went into Baltimore the week before and beat the Ravens in Baltimore. Didn't just beat them; they cleaned the clock. Yeah. And then everyone was saying, well, this is going to be the end of it right here. This is the end of the dynasty. San Diego is going to go into New England and beat them, and New England wasn't having it. They beat them. They flipped the switch. Then they went into Kansas City, and it was cold. That day, I remember before that game started was the late game. I'm outside scraping ice off my driveway for like 3 hours. And then finally that game started, and it was just awesome.
That's not how I pregame, by the way.
Scraping ice?
Yeah, no, I don't.
I recommend it.
I don't. It worked. It worked. So maybe
yes.
maybe we all should do that. Now, what do you think about like this year? Do you even want to see a Super Bowl? Because we're not playing the Bucs till next year, and they come to us, I believe. So, you want to see the Bucs go to the Super Bowl this year, or do you?
No.
You just want to see them get?
I am not a Tampa Bay fan. I know I probably went off on a long tangent story, but what I started to say was, I do that.
That's hey.
Sometimes you have to reel me
like
back
I said, we're all
in.
friends here.
But with Tampa Bay, you have the people that go out and are buying the Tom Brady shirts, buying the Tampa Bay shirts. I'm not rooting for the Patriots. I'm a Tampa fan now. And Gronk's over there, who, by the way, he's a quitter. He quit on the Patriots.
Yeah.
But that's fine. Yeah.
A lot of people think there was a conspiracy there.
There was a conspiracy.
Brady said, "Hey, listen, take the year off, get healthy, do what you got to do your wrestling, whatever. Who cares? I'll pick you up when I go."
And it's funny because it's like everyone's like, "Oh well, they quit because they weren't having fun anymore. Belichick was mean to them." And it's like, "Aw, your boss was mean to you, so
It's a job, by the way.
Yeah,
you
it
are
is
a
a
professional.
job, and it's going to happen. You're going to have bosses that are going to demand stuff from you, and they're probably not going to be the nicest. But at the end of the day, if you get the results, six Super Bowls.
Yeah. It's the old. You know what else is fun? Winning.
Exactly. Winning is. I'm sorry, but
That's why you play the game, right?
yeah,
You play to win the games,
that's
right, Herm Edwards?
That's right. That's right, Herm Edwards. And another one of my favorite lines was a Jim Mora.
Oh, playoffs?
That's exactly.
Playoffs? I make it the face.
I just wanted to hear you say that. But I don't want to see Tampa Bay do well.
No, not at all.
No, not at all.
You'd rather see them go over than lose.
I hope
us
they
in the
lose
Super
every
Bowl?
game, and then.
But wouldn't that solidify the Belichick versus Brady? Well, I guess it would if they went over, but beating them in the Super Bowl, wouldn't that be kind of awesome?
Oh, if the Patriots beat them in the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Oh, it'd be fantastic.
But you're saying because the Patriots won't make it to the Super Bowl, probably you don't even want to see them have a shot. Because they do have a 50-50 shot if they make the Super Bowl. That's
Anything can happen, but I do not see them, I don't see them going to the Super Bowl this year, but I still see them having a good season.
Sure.
And then they're going to have more salary cap space next year, and, they can start to build a team, build it better than what it is now. I know a lot of people, like I was saying before, everyone's complaining about the weapons and blah, blah, blah. So that's another reason why it's like, okay, Tom Brady, you have the weapons now. Let's see, what are you going to do with it? Because he was complaining, I don't have any weapons, and you could see him on the field. He was, he's whining. There was a game against the Jets last year. They won by like 30 points. And he's at the press conference like someone kicked his dog.
I remember that.
And it's like, are you kidding me right now?
That was a bad look.
Yeah, it was terrible. And that was him all last year. And then, at the end, everyone's like, oh, well, I can't see how, the Patriots would have made it as far as they did last year without Brady. It's like, yeah, because, one of my lasting impressions of Brady is the last 2 games of the season, him throwing pick sixes against the Dolphins and then against the Titans.
His last throw as a Patriot was
His last throw of the Patriot, as a Patriot, was a pick six. So Logan Ryan.
Logan Ryan, that's right, an expatriate. Well, but he's got a point though, because how many Super Bowls did they win with Randy Moss? He's a great weapon. How many?
That's I would say that's a big 0.
Oh, I didn't mean Randy Moss. I meant Wes Welker. How many did they win with Wes Welker?
Well, don't even get me started on Wes Welker.
Just give me the number first.
2011.
That's not the number I was thinking. But they won 0 with Wes Welker, correct?
0 with Wes Welker, 2011. And I want to hear your view on this. 2011,
right, sure.
The play
Yes.
against the Giants that would have sealed that Super Bowl.
Would it have though?
Oh yeah, it definitely would have. It would have been first down.
When he dropped the ball, but that you're assuming
They had no more timeouts. Yeah. It would have taken you past the 2-minute warning. And they would have been in.
How you doing?
And they would have been close to field goal range, if I remember that correctly, too.
Oh, they would have. Oh, yeah, they would have. But how much were they down? I forget those numbers. Were they down 2?
I think at that point, were they up 2 or 3?
I don't remember. That's why.
Because I think they lost by 4. Because I remember at the end of the game, they were throwing Hail Marys to.
So they needed a touchdown.
Yeah.
So the field goal would have meant nothing.
But it would have ran the clock down a lot less than what it was. Because, not to mention the fact it probably would have sealed the game because they would have had 4 more downs.
But they would have had to score a touchdown. That's what you're.
No. I'm saying before when Welker dropped the ball, they were winning. The Patriots were winning that game.
Oh, see, all right. I forgot that.
Yeah.
All right, my
The
bad.
Patriots were winning. That would have sealed the
So
game.
you don't want my view because I don't have a view apparently.
Yes.
Let's go with your view.
So I think that sealed the game. And my view on that was, now that I'm on a roll with Brady, I could say that Brady
Let's go, Butter. You're on a roll.
overthrew that ball.
Oh.
But I'd like to think that Welker dropped that one
He definitely dropped.
because it was in his hands.
He dropped
And I remember standing up and cheering, and at the same time, as I saw the ball fall out of his hands, devastation set in because 2007, you're playing the Giants. 2007 is still fresh in your mind, the Tyree catch, and anything like that can happen. So, and then sure enough, there was a crazy catch on the very next, once they punted the ball and Eli got the ball back, there was a crazy catch again.
Yeah. That wasn't the Tyrell card. Was it David Tyrese or David Tyrell? David Tyrese, correct?
It was Tyrese.
Okay. Was that the call the catch?
No, I'm talking about
because there was 2 of them.
And yes, in 2011 there was a crazy catch on the sideline, and I believe I can't remember off the top of my head.
We try to forget.
Yeah, who the receiver was off the top of my head, but he made a great catch on the sidelines between 2 defenders, and that set up the game-winning touchdown.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things when he made the catch, you just shook your head, and you're just like, "Oh my God, here we go again!"
Right.
And then, of course, the same thing almost happened in 2014 on the sideline. Curse, when he was falling down and the ball landed on him, he never dropped it. And then, of course, you know what happened with Pete Carroll throwing the ball. And
Yes.
Thank you very much for that.
Yes. I didn't blame Pete Carroll for that. I'm one of the few. A lot of people said you should. Marshawn Lynch had been stopped for losses before, and there's no guarantee. And that's why I say you can't.
The week before that. And Belichick baited him into that. Yeah. I watched a really good documentary on that game, and they had everybody mic'd up, and Belichick set up that defense.
Hold on, real quick. Do you like the train?
I love the train.
It's a good touch, right?
That's awesome.
It's behind us, but yeah. It's literally right. It's maybe 20 feet from the back of the garage.
Does that keep you up at night?
No, you don't. I don't hear it. I only hear it here because I hear it in the headphones, and I like to acknowledge it. See this. Yep, this is what happens. But no, it's like living at the airport. They say you don't hear the airplanes, and that's true. I went out with the girl in Winthrop once, and I first went to her. I'm like, how do you live like this? She's like, what? I'm like, there's a friggin' plane that just drove by the house, like 10 feet above it. I don't hear it anymore. How do you not hear that? But I too stopped hearing the plane. I don't hear planes, trains, or automobiles.
Nice.
That should be a movie.
Yeah. John Candy.
Never work. Okay, I apologize. Back to the. You lost your train of thought. See what I did there? We were discussing the Brady. We'll go way back. We'll leave the Giants alone now. We'll go back to the Brady thing. So you're under because Brady's now on social media a lot. He's speaking his mind a lot. So he's My mother likes to say Tom Brady's the best quarterback ever because he doesn't have an ego. He doesn't. I'm like, Mom, every quarterback has an ego. You have to have an ego. If Tom Brady was, I used to say, if Peyton Manning, because she hates Peyton Manning because he's not Tom Brady. If Peyton Manning was a Patriot, you would say Peyton Manning is the best because he doesn't have an ego. Blah blah blah. Yes, they all do, and now Brady's showing it. Belichick won't let you. He checks your ego at the door. And to Brady's credit, he did it the Patriot way, and that's why it worked. But it's the Patriot way. It's not the Tom Brady way. The Tom Brady way is to say, the only thing to fear is fear itself, and drink my stuff and wear my shirts and let's practice out in the park, and I'm gonna just throw the ball even though I'm not supposed to because I'm Tom Brady. Blah 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 blah. That's what Tom Brady has always been. The first thing he said to Kraft was what? Like, you just made the best pick of your life.
That's the best decision you ever made.
Yeah, I mean, so he's always had an ego.
And that was awesome.
Sure. And I don't even hate Tom Brady. I don't. But facts are facts. He has an ego, and you have to have an ego. You can't be a quarterback with down 4 with the ball in your hands and hope that you could make a play. You have to say, I am making this play. Peyton Manning, they all have it.
I know, like I said, I'm being critical of Tom Brady.
It's okay.
But I love Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Love him. Like I said, if there would be no 6 Super Bowl championships without him. And, the fact that they made it to, 8 straight AFC championship games. I mean, that's absolutely ridiculous. You almost expected him to be there every year. And he was the main reason. I mean, especially early on in his career, he could take, 2006, he could take any crap receiving core and just elevate them.
Exactly.
And that's what he wasn't able to do at the end.
Which is why I was hoping we were going to go full circle.
Yes.
Because it brings you back to why do you need the weapons? You won with David Givens. You won with Troy Brown, who was awesome, by the way, played defense as well.
Yep.
You won with guys like I can't think of it. But you didn't have the core, the receivers that you had the last couple of years. You never won with Randy Moss. You never won with Wes Welker. You won with Edelman, but you're known for you're elevating people's plays. That's what GOATs do. I mean, look at Aaron Rodgers. For a couple of years, you couldn't name any of his receivers. He doesn't care. Just catch the ball. That's all you have to do is catch the ball. I'll put the ball there. You just catch it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dan Marino made the Mark brothers, Clayton and Duper. What are they? Do they call them the Mark brothers or the Marx brothers?
I can't. That's a great question. I thought those 2 receivers were fantastic.
Yeah, they had a name. Well, they were fantastic because they played with Dan Marino for I believe.
Yeah, I mean,
I think maybe I'm wrong. But Dan Marino had no running game. Nope. Never had a defense, and he still was the most feared quarterback around. I mean, and no one had a bigger ego than Marino.
Oh no, he was definitely the worst. Those Isotona glove commercials were terrible too.
Those are the best. I was a big Marino fan back in the day. But you have to have an ego, and that's why he is great. You can't, like you said earlier, you can't erase what he did. I will root for Tom Brady. I will root for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, except when they play the Patriots. Week 1, Tampa now has the most primetime games possible, and the most they've had. They have more this year than they've ever had combined, I think.
Oh, there's no question.
And the first week 1 is New Orleans versus the Bucks.
Looking forward to that one. My
God, you can't. They're going to play them twice. They're going to play the Packers, I believe, this year too. I think, and it's just amazing to me.
Oh yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm looking forward to those games.
You just want them to lose.
I really don't care if they lose. I'm not going to mind it.
No.
I'm a Patriots fan first. Yeah. And, it's like I said, I mean, I understand a lot of people, you have the Brady side, you have the Belichick side, and all the Brady people like, oh, well, he put up with so much for so long, and all the Belichick people are like, oh, well, stop being a baby. He was a diva over the last couple of years, and he quit on the team at the end. And, there's a little of both there. And, is it the best thing in the world, or should I say is it the worst thing in the world that he's not on the team anymore? Because at some time, you had to cut bait. You had to. And I don't think that this year it would have done anything for the growth of the team to still have him around. And I don't think we were going to go any further with him. And honestly, I don't think it's going to be any much of a difference with Stidham. I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, well, you're talking about Tom Brady. Yeah, but how happy would if he had to come back here, say he took a lesser deal to come back, do you think he would have been happy being here again? He would have been going through the same thing. He would have had the same weapons that he didn't want to throw to. And that's another thing, another problem I had with Tom Brady, is towards the end when he didn't like you, if you weren't in his circle of trust, he's not going to throw you the ball.
Right.
And they were showing a couple of different plays in that Tennessee game, the film that they had. And one point, he had Sanu wide open over the middle, and he's still trying to force the ball into Edelman. And he had time to throw it.
It's his binky.
Yes, exactly. But he only...
Can't
if
have
you-
a binky.
If you weren't in his circle of trust, if you weren't his,
Yeah.
Robert De Niro,
Hey.
if you were in his circle of trust, then he's going to...
Look at me. Look at me.
Exactly. He wouldn't look at you. So yeah, he's throwing a lot of balls in the ground and throwing pick sixes.
Yeah, and you have to laugh because the last couple of years when he said, "Oh, well, I'm not gonna do the OTAs because my family life." How's your family life in Tampa? Did she leave because you're practicing?
Amazing how your
It's-
family life changes like that.
Right.
I'm glad that they figured it out. I'm
Yeah, it's
so
about
happy
time.
for them.
It's too bad that took him a trip south to do it. But
Exactly. But hey, I mean, like I said, I don't have. I mean, I still love Tom Brady, and I always will.
yeah, you have to. You can't deny what he did.
He's the greatest quarterback that ever lived. He is you think of the New England Patriots, he might be the best player ever to play in New England, the Boston area. I mean, he's definitely, he's without a question on the Mount Rushmore of,
Yeah, definitely.
of Boston sports.
Who do you put who do you put? You got to do it. It's
I'm going to do one
from each team.
One from each team.
Yeah.
You got to go with Tom Brady.
All right, Brady
I would say for the Boston Bruins, you have to go with Bobby Orr.
or
So for the Boston Red Sox,
it's tough.
it is tough, and I know a lot of people are going to want to say Ted Williams.
Do the Celtics first then.
All right, so
That's tough,
Celtics,
too.
I got to say Bill Russell.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
I don't
gotta
put
say
Bird
Bill
there.
Russell.
Okay, so what do you do for the Patriots?
I love,
the,
and I love Larry Bird.
of course.
Yeah, but Bill Russell is without a question the best best Celtic player ever. And
People want to judge Brady as the GOAT because of his rings, but Bill Russell has more rings than fingers.
oh yeah,
So how is, if you're going to judge the GOAT in football by rings, why not judge basketball by rings or every sport by rings if that's how you
I
want to do
agree
it?
with you.
Like, it makes no sense to me. They never even talk about Bill Russell. People would rather have Wilt Chamberlain than Bill Russell.
I know.
Why?
He kicked Chamberlain's ass all the time.
Everyone's.
Yeah,
He was so good when he blocked a shot, he would block it to the point guard.
yeah.
What? Bill Russell was the best Celtic, in my humble opinion,
Oh, no question.
to live.
I completely agree
Bird
with
is
you.
absolutely second.
Oh yeah, there's no question. He is unquestionably second.
But
And I
too
love the
bad.
guy.
You only get one. It's Bill Russell. It's Bill Russell.
You have to.
I agree with you. I've had so many fights with people. I'm like, listen, it's a recency bias.
Yeah.
You just because I never saw Bill Russell play either, except on film, on tape.
Yeah.
But he was amazing.
I try to, and
I lived through. We lived through Larry Bird.
We did, and I mean, at first that was the only championships that we were watching were the Boston Celtics.
Yeah.
Because they were winning in the '80s, and no other team was.
No.
I mean,
No, they
I
were
know
all
the
to do-
Bruins. The Bruins made it to. They made it to one Stanley Cup in the '80s, and then
The Oilers.
and then
With the-
1990.
Remember the game with the lights went out?
Oh yeah, that was
The
crazy.
power went out?
Yep.
That was
And then
the Edmonton
1990, the year I think that was the year I graduated high school. It was. They lost to Edmonton again, but I mean, I guess that's more for the 90s. But that was, I mean, the Patriots made it in '85, but I mean, let's not talk about that one. And the Red Sox actually made it to a World Series that year, but
86, yeah.
Bill Buckner,
Billy Buck. That did not lose the World Series for them.
No, it
That was
didn't.
Game 6.
they did because they blew the lead before that. They had a 2-run lead going into that inning, and they couldn't hold it. And I just remember saying to myself, "Oh my God!"
And could Billy Buck have, if the pitcher covered the bag, which I don't think he did anyways,
Yeah,
he would have beat it anyways, wouldn't he?
yeah, I think he would have.
Buckner was never going to make it to first base.
The guy could barely even run at that
Exactly.
point. Yeah.
So I don't think it was, even though it went through his legs, what would he have done?
Yeah, the game was lost before then, or it was tied, but they weren't going to win.
No. Not that.
It already set in.
And they
at
lost
that
Game
point.
7.
Yeah,
You had your chance.
They did.
It's like the USA hockey team in 80. That Russia game wasn't the gold medal
they still
game.
had to win a game
They,
after
won,
that.
and they were losing that game. Then they
They
woke
were.
up and won. But yeah, people think of that. They always say, "Oh yeah, that was the best gold medal game ever."
Yeah.
It wasn't even a gold medal game.
Yeah, and it's like the Red Sox are racing 3-0 versus the Yankees. They still had to go on and win the World Series.
Right.
But that wouldn't have mattered that year because they still hadn't won in 86 years. So if they had beaten the Yankees and then gone on and lost to the Cardinals in the World Series,
Didn't matter.
wouldn't have mattered.
Nobody remembers the losers. They just play that. I listened to that series with the Yankees on EEI. They were running it.
which brings me to my Boston.
I mean, literally this week.
Yeah.
Oh, you do too.
I just, on my way over here, I was listening to the Patriots-Ravens 2010, and I remember that game. It was actually a really good
You
game.
remember that game, but you don't remember going to Bellator
I don't-
2 months ago.
I have a selective memory.
Sure.
But my Mount Rushmore,
Yes.
speaking of 2004, I mean, yeah, Ted Williams, without a question, the guy is fantastic. But I rate everything on wins. So I'm going David Ortiz.
Yeah, I think we have the same because I do.
Biggest clutch hitter in
Can't argue.
Red Sox history.
I want Williams to be there so bad.
Oh, yeah. But he didn't win, unfortunately.
Ortiz won a World Series by himself.
Oh, yeah.
By himself.
Yeah, guy was great.
For a team game, he won it by himself. He did. It was amazing what he did. That I forget which one it was, but I mean, and then they gave him that extra ring. I had no problem with that. No problem with that at all.
But he had in 2004, that Yankee series, they were down 3-0. Game 4, he hits that home run to win it. And then they come back the next day and play another marathon, and he gets the winning hit in that game, the single.
Yeah,
off
wasn't his batting
Esteban
average
Loaiza.
You remember that, but you don't. Unbelievable. Wasn't that? Didn't he hit like 800 that series?
Oh,
Like
he
that
was,
whole
yeah, he
playoffs?
was ridiculous.
Why would you pitch to him?
I know.
Why would you pitch to him? Like when Manny was up, when Manny was batting before him, it was Manny third, Ortiz fourth, right?
No, it was Ortiz third.
It was
Manny
Ortiz
fourth.
fourth. And I used to argue with my father. I would say because he'd be like, "Oh, Ortiz is way better." I'm like, he's only getting the pitches because Manny's in front of him or behind him. I mean, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And there was some truth to that because Manny was a great hitter.
Oh, he's fantastic.
But Ortiz proved it with really. He didn't have that. There wasn't many All-Stars on the team. Well, they became All-Stars, but there wasn't that many. Like you talk about Brady needing weapons. Ortiz was the only guy doing anything that series.
You're talking the Yankee series?
I'm talking the World Series that they won where he was the MVP. Well, how many times is he World Series MVP? The one where he hit everything that they just refused to.
Was that 13?
I don't remember that stuff. That's the stuff I don't remember. I'll remember what I had, for breakfast in first grade for the first Tuesday of the year, but I don't remember.
Because I'm trying to think, because I know that in 2004, the unsung hero of that whole playoff run was Derek Lowe.
D'Lo.
That guy clinched. He was nails. I think he clinched every series.
Oh, that's right. I remember that.
That was nails.
Yeah.
And I think that year he was having a problem with staying sober, and
Aren't we all?
yeah, and then he comes, and then he goes out, and the guy was just absolutely clutch in that whole playoff run. But yeah, I'm trying to think. 2000,
Because I get them mixed up. That's why I know the series I'm talking about. but I couldn't
2007
pay
they had a great team, and that was another series. They were down 3-1 to the Indians in the ALCS and came back and won. So at that point, I was like, wow, I mean, this team is just going to come back. And then in 2013, they were down 2-0 against Detroit. Oh, no, I'm sorry. They were down 1-0 going down 2-0 until Captain Clutch Ortiz hit the grand slam off of Albuquerque.
Who? That was his name?
Was it Al Albuquerque?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah,
I thought it was a nickname.
Put that one right into the bullpen. You get the famous scene, Torrey Hunter flipping over the wall.
Oh yeah.
The cop putting his hands up.
That's right. I remember
Yeah,
that.
that was game 2, and that changed the whole series. But yeah, I mean, they were almost, because they were down by a lot in that game, and I think Scherzer pitched that game, and he was just he was just owning the Red Sox that game, and they had no chance coming back till they got to that bullpen because Dombrowski could never. He was just terrible at finding bullpens.
Yeah.
And he hated putting bullpens together. So once the Sox got into those bullpens in that series, they pretty much ripped that team apart. But their starting pitching, Detroit's that year was unbelievable. I mean, you just had Scherzer and Verlander, just your top two, and I mean that that alone. And then Anibal Sanchez. I mean, he was actually really good that year too. But yeah, 13 was another. That was like an unsung hero year for the Red Sox. It was just a bunch of let's throw some people together. But yeah, that was a great World Series, and I do think Ortiz might have. I'm trying to think of who won the MVP that year, because I know Pierce won it in the last one, and I think, did Manny win it in 2004?
I don't remember.
I'm thinking Manny might have won it in 2004. I'm not sure. But I'm trying to think of one in 2013. I can't tell off the top of my head, but it might have been Ortiz.
If it's the one I'm thinking of, because he literally hit every ball that was pitched to him, and he was clutch, like you said, Mr. Clutch.
Yeah.
But there was that one series, he just owned it. He was the only reason we won the World Series. And
Yeah.
I can't remember the team that we played. That's my problem.
It might have been 13 because I'm thinking. Well, they played St. Louis twice,
Yeah.
and then they played the Rockies in 2007, and then they played the Dodgers in the last one, 2018.
I don't believe it was the Dodgers, so it might have
Well,
been.
yeah, because I mean Ortiz wasn't even playing. He had retired by then.
Well, then I will guarantee it wasn't the Dodgers.
Yeah, so I'm thinking it was 2013.
I believe it was. I believe it was the last one he went to. Not us, he. That
yeah,
went
he
to.
was. Yeah, he was. I mean, he was.
And you know why I couldn't think of it? Because it was the second St. Louis series. And to me, St. Louis, I always remember Mankiewicz getting the ball from, what was that closer's name?
Falk?
He was in Oakland. Yeah, Kevin Falk.
Yeah.
Tossed the ball to Mankiewicz. And
That was
that's-
awesome.
Yeah, it was phenomenal.
First 86 years breaking the curse,
Yeah.
overcoming everything to get there, and the bloody sock Kurt Schilling. And
How great was it seeing 10-year-olds celebrate going, I waited for this my whole life. Have you?
I waited this for 10 years.
Have you, kid? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, as a lifelong Red Sox fan, I mean, you go back to, 86, and then you go back to the year before that, 2003, Grady Little leaving Pedro in the game in Game 7 against the Yankees. What are you doing?
It's tough. That's a tough call because
I mean, you could have got a show pony to make that decision.
Pedro wanted the ball, though, didn't he?
No, I think Pedro was done. He did that little thing where, he points to the sky. He was done. And Grady Little just couldn't pull the trigger on it because I believe the formula
Okay. Oh, formula.
would have been Pedro for 7. Mm-hmm. And then I believe it was Timlin in the 8th and Williamson in the 9th.
Oh, all right.
And I think that would have won you the ALCS. But Grady Little, for some reason, went up to, Pedro, he went up to him and goes, can you give me one more? And even though Pedro did the point to the sky, which usually meant that he was done, he's not going to.
He's not going to say no.
You can't, you're going after his manhood at that point.
Yeah.
And he was a proud guy. And Pedro is the best pitcher that I've ever seen pitch for the Red Sox.
Was that true?
Yes.
You saw Roger Clemens.
He's better than Roger Clemens.
Better than.
And I know there's people that'll get mad at me for that. But that guy, as far as I know, he did it naturally against, in an era with all steroid
That's fair.
players.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Because he didn't do steroids. He was skinnier
Oh, the
than.
guy, I mean, if he did steroids, he was doing them wrong.
Right.
He just had
You're supposed
those.
to put in your own ass,
He
not
had
his.
those giant fingers, like that circle change that he threw was just, because they used to show, pictures of him, and the way that he had it sit, in his palm with his fingers over on it. His fingers were just so long. I mean, that's how he got that pitch, and that's, I mean, and the same thing, like for someone who was so small, I mean, he threw heat.
Yeah, he did.
And he was another one that he put so much strain on his shoulder that he had to, reinvent himself in his later years. But Pedro, without a question, to me, especially, some of those years that he posted, one of the years he had a post-2 ERA, I think it was like 1.95, 1.96, against the steroid era. I mean, that to me is unbelievable. Yeah. And he had one year that he lost the Cy Young to Barry Zito, and that was an absolute embarrassment to me. Barry Zito, really?
For the Oakland A's, correct?
I think, yeah, he was with the
At the
Oakland when
time.
he won it, yeah. And then he went to San Francisco with a huge contract, and he was terrible.
Yeah, he sucked at the end.
But, yeah, I mean, Pedro's the best I saw as far as a pitcher goes for the Red Sox. And I know there's people that'll argue with me, but, I mean, Clemens,
Do you put Schilling in there at all?
I love Kurt Schilling. I know, outside of baseball, a lot of people won't agree with his.
Forget
but
that.
I don't.
We're not judging
I don't
him on
base
that.
things on
It's
that.
about
I don't.
baseball.
I'm
Baseball.
a sports fan.
Yes.
And that's. I mean, I don't need a role model.
No.
So
Good. Charles Barkley's your man. He's not a role model.
what's that?
Charles Barkley's your man. He's not a role
I
model.
love Charles. Charles
See?
Barkley's great.
Remember his commercial? I'm not a role model?
Yes, exactly. And that's another reason why I love him, because he's like, I'm not a role model. And a lot of people that look to these players as role models, it's like I love entertainment. And Kurt Schilling, I love Kurt Schilling. The guy was nails.
Yeah. I
And
thought
he was
Lenny Dykstra was
clutch.
nails.
What's that?
I thought Lenny Dykstra was nails.
Lenny Dykstra was actually the person that had the nickname Nails.
That's right.
But if you
wasn't
want to talk
actually,
about clutch, postseason, you need a guy out there in the postseason. He's one of the guys.
He did it for Arizona and the Red Sox.
Yeah, he did. And that year, that they won, him and Randy Johnson, and those guys were pitching every single game just about. But yeah, I mean, as a pitcher, I love Curt Schilling too, because in 2004, I mean, he won 20 games that year. And, it was a shame what happened in the Angel series, but he still came out and pitched a hell of a game against the Yankees. And was it game 6? I think it was game 6. He hit the bloody sock game. And then the game that he pitched in the World Series against the Cardinals, the very next, I mean, that was it for him. It's a good thing they swept the series, because after that game, he wasn't going to be able to pitch again after that, because, I mean, that tendon was...
But he would have.
He would have pitched, but
he would have.
if you remember the year after, he didn't pitch until after the All-Star break, and he was a closer. And I was at the first game, they played the Yankees. I was at the first game that he pitched as a closer, and you know what his song was? You know how all the closers have their song?
Yeah.
Welcome to the Jungle. And he comes in, welcome to the jungle, and he's running to the mound, and everybody's going nuts. And I can't remember who it was, but the first batter he faced, he proceeds to give up a game-winning home run.
Oh, I don't remember that at all.
Oh, yeah.
See, your memory kills me.
I just, I can't remember where I put my keys, but I can remember stuff like this.
That's why I wanted you here.
I'm good with anniversary dates and stuff like that. I just can't remember, I'll put my keys somewhere, and I'll put them in the drawer, and then I'll be looking for them for 5 hours swearing.
You know the best question is ever? Well, where'd you put them last?
Exactly.
If I knew that.
And when people ask me that, I just want
You just ignore it, right?
Yeah, I can't waste my time with that.
That's such a great question. Where'd you leave them? Where were they? Shut up.
Oh, you're right. I should have thought of that.
Oh, my bad. That's the worst. I didn't really intend to talk to you for over an hour about sports. So
I could talk forever.
I know, and I knew that going in, but to get off sports for a second,
Yeah,
what have you been? If anyone's still listening, what have you been doing? I know you, with the COVID, all that crap, but have you done anything? Gone out? Do you do anything for entertainment purposes?
I've hit a couple restaurants.
Okay.
Went to I've gone to the 110 Grill a couple times.
Is that Braintree?
No, I went to the one in Nashua.
Now you still live in Stoneham, right?
I do.
Okay, so you still because don't forget I'm in the North Shore, not South Shore now. So I
Oh yeah, I remember the Phillies days back in the
Phillies days.
Back
That's right.
when we were 11 and 12.
Yeah,
That's
we played
right.
baseball together. Your father was the coach of Mr. Zaya.
He was the assistant. Mr. Zaire was the coach, and Billy Driscoll too.
That's right.
Yes.
I forgot about that, Mr. Driscoll.
Yep, that was a great coaching team right there. I mean, they were
They won us at least 4 games.
without a question.
At least.
The mastermind of baseball right there. Those guys are great. But yeah, I mean, I've done that. Obviously, one of the things that I like to do is I like to stay fit. So there hasn't been any gyms open. So I actually built kind of like a home gym. I was able to, before the rush came on, I got a couple of different pairs of sets of dumbbells, and I got some resistant bands. And I actually, since this started, I've done a lot of walking and everything. I've lost about 13 pounds.
Really?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Because I remember when I last saw you.
You weren't exactly
February 22nd.
needing to lose weight, though.
I felt like I had to.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, I was up when I last saw you February 22nd, I believe, for the.
You remember that?
For the big fight. The big fight.
I couldn't even tell you the month. I said a couple months ago. It wasn't a couple months. It's been more than a couple months.
Yeah.
But you know when it was. Okay.
I do remember that, and because it was a good night. I had a good time that night. It was a great night. Yeah. And it was a good fight. But I remember because I looked back and see pictures of that and everything, and I knew that I needed to do something. So yeah, I hit the fitness hard, and I was able to do that. I am looking forward to the gyms opening back up again. I don't know what that's going to be, but I mean, other than that, I haven't been to like any malls. I mean, if you count Redstone, but I mean that's not really a mall.
But would you normally go to a mall though?
Oh yeah, I used to love going to a mall.
Okay, all right. Which one is your favorite mall?
That's a tough one. But probably one that I would go to the most would be like Burlington, just because it's so close and it was near my work.
Oh, that makes it easy, sure.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, other than that, I haven't been doing or going, too many places.
I haven't either. I've pretty much lived here.
Yeah, in this garage,
This is
right?
a field trip for me. Yeah, actually, there's the bed over there.
It was funny because when you flagged me down when I was first coming here, and I'm like, is that his house?
This is where I live. This is it. I got bunk beds. Look at that. That's my loft.
That's right.
The top shelf is my loft.
And I can see the.
That's a Christmas tree. That's where I keep that. It
Oh,
goes, it goes
nice.
right over there in that corner and come December.
It's fantastic. A good setup here.
Now it's actually not bad. The car, we do actually put cars in here in the wintertime.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know what I'm going to do then. I think
You
I'll
just fit one though, right?
yeah, just the one. We don't have two little Volkswagen buggies. I could put parallel park
It'd be
them in
great.
here.
If yeah. What are those?
Mini Coopers?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, what were those other cars? The real small ones.
Matchbox cars?
Yeah. That I see some people driving them, and once it reminded me of like a Simpsons episode. I saw this guy get out of the car, and he must have been about 6'4", and he was getting out of one of these cars, and
Yeah.
I was like, why would you do that?
Yeah, why would you choose that? That can't be. It must be a punishment.
Yeah.
What's your favorite Simpsons character? You said The Simpsons.
Yeah, I know that I'm gonna probably say the wrong one.
There's no wrong answer. There's no wrong answer.
I would have to say Krusty the Clown.
Okay, why?
Just because the guy's awesome. He's such a mess, and just like his voice, just.
That was good.
But yeah, I love Krusty. But I know a lot of people want to tell me that. Oh, well, people make jokes to this day. Montgomery Burns, Mr. Burns,
Oh,
they call me.
I didn't see that.
And a little bit of trivia.
Okay.
There was only like 1 or 2 episodes, but Montgomery Burns had an illegitimate son.
Tell me his name was.
His name was Larry Burns,
Wow, look at that.
played by Rodney Dangerfield.
Oh, no way.
And I remember the night because this is before we had cell phones, and this was the night. I mean, I know we had cell phones.
That's how long the Simpsons have been
But
on.
they were the 1980s.
Flip phone.
Yeah, like I never had one back then, so I had
Not
like
even flip phone in the 80s, right?
no, they had those
they
big giant
plugged
ones
into
that were
your
on like
car.
Miami Vice.
Yeah.
And
Like a brick to your face.
exactly. And I just remember that night watching the episode of The Simpsons, and they introduced the character Larry Burns, and my phone blew up.
That's funny. Yeah,
And I don't even think we had call waiting back then. So all I know is I would talk to
we
someone
didn't
on
have
the
running water. We didn't have nothing
It was-
back in
yeah,
the
I
80s.
mean, I was basically going to, from one place to another, a horse and buggy
That's
with
right.
a candle.
That's right.
And I just remember I would hang up with one person, and the phone would ring again, and it was someone else going, "Yo, Monty Burns is a legitimate son," and I'm like, "Oh boy."
Thanks. Heard that one already.
So I never heard the end of that one.
Well, I didn't even realize that. And I'm a big Rodney Dangerfield fan. My favorite Simpsons character is Disco Stew.
Disco Stew's great.
Remember that when he got that disco stud
Yes.
jacket at a flea market or at the garage or whatever. This jacket's perfect for Disco Stew.
Yeah,
I
talk about
love
himself
Disco
in
Stew.
the third person.
Yep.
Same thing with Duffman. I think he was the same way.
I got my picture. Did you ever see that picture I had? I went to Comic-Con. We could talk Comic-Con.
That's right.
You've been.
I have been.
I've waited so long to talk about Comic-Con. We
Loved
talked
Comic-Con.
about the Mount Rushmore of sports.
Loved it. I know you probably don't have any more listeners left because they probably checked out.
It's all right. I'm listening.
But yeah, Comic-Con was great.
Yeah.
Went with a couple of friends of mine, and
Julie Sarno.
yes, Julie Sarno was
Julie.
one, and Aaliyah Kayatsa, who's a very good friend of mine. I hope he doesn't mind me mentioning him.
He shut it off. He shut it off an hour ago. Don't worry about it.
They probably did, but me and him went as a couple of Dragon Ball Z characters.
Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, he went as Vegeta, and I went as Goku.
No, is that pronounced fajita? No.
No, it is not.
I ate a fajita.
Steak.
You went steak and he went
fajita.
as chicken. Nice.
Yes. So I went as Goku. He went as. I know a lot of people are like, what the hell is he talking about? But yeah, I mean, it was funny because I actually was never, a big fan of any kind of these shows. But I remember I used to, I'd get home late at night on a Saturday night, and I'd, turn on TV because I couldn't go to sleep right away, and I'm flipping on, Adult Swim on Cartoon Network. And they had Dragon Ball Z on. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah, right.
And I just sit there and watch. And I remember the first episode, it's, they have the announcer on there, will Goku be able to defeat the great Frieza? And I'm sitting there going, I don't know, but I think I'm going to watch
I'm
again
going to
next
find
week.
out. Weren't they only like 20 minutes long, too, or 15 minutes?
Yeah,
or
with
something
all the
like that?
commercials.
They were quick, right? But I might be thinking about Adult Swim, where they only have like 10 minutes.
They have those shows like, what is it? Of course, off the top of my head, I can't think of them, but there's a couple of great shows, like actually the Mike Tyson Mysteries.
No way.
Yeah.
I remember that show. He had the
Mike
pigeon,
Tyson.
right? Did he have a pigeon?
A pigeon played by Norm Macdonald.
That's right, Norm
And it was
Macdonald.
the greatest character.
Oh, man.
Love Norm Macdonald. I love that pigeon. I want to have a pigeon just like him.
I think one of the best celebrity voice cameo has got to be George Clooney on South Park. Did you ever hear what he was? He wanted to be on South Park, and they're like, all right, but you're going to be a dog. He's like, all right, but all you're going to say is woof.
Yeah.
He woofed like 4 or 5 times, but it was George Clooney doing it.
Oh, yeah. Because they
Love
used to
that.
have that doctor character that was supposed to be based off of George Clooney on that show.
Oh, is that why?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was one of the reasons, but yeah, I mean, you know, he was a fan of the show.
Yeah.
But yeah, they do have on Adult Swim, they have a bunch of those shows that are only like 10, 15 minutes long. But
That's good for your attention span.
Exactly, because that's about all. But they had the Aqua Teen Hunger Force, which is another one of my favorites.
I've heard of them.
You know, Frylock. You know, they had these, you know, a hamburger, which was Meatwad.
Meatwad?
Meatwad was his
Why
name.
am I just finding out about this now?
I know.
I would have been watching.
And same thing. I ran into this show on accident, and I loved it because it cracked me up, and it was just about right for my attention span.
Meatwad.
Frylock, he was a container of French fries, and then Master Shake, who was actually a shake, and they were supposed to be like detectives or something like that, but none of the shows they were ever detectives. They just got
Well,
into all
because
kinds
when a
of
giant
trouble.
shake walks down the street, it's not really...
Exactly, and Shake was like he was the biggest dick.
Okay, fair enough.
He really was. But he made the whole show. He was the greatest character. And same thing. It was like 10, 15 minutes long, and it was a great show. But to get back to I could go off.
We're
on
not gonna
tangents
get back
like
to
nothing.
anything.
But to get back to Comic-Con.
I did the last one on purpose, by the way. I did. I was like, I'm going to throw him off now. He won't
See how far
even
it
know.
goes.
Yeah, exactly. You did well.
But to get back to Comic-Con,
Did you go as Dickwad? No, Meatwad.
Meatwad. No, I went as Goku, a Dragon Ball character, and I mean, I had the wig, but I had like just a Dragon Ball T-shirt. But my friend Aaliyah, oh man, that guy went all out.
I saw your picture.
Yeah,
you showed me.
he
You
had-
sent
he
it
had
to
the-
me. You
the
look
wig on.
good. No, yours.
Oh yeah,
You sent me, because we had talked about it
That's
before.
right, I did
And
send
I
it.
think I don't think you shared it with many people, but you sent it to me because I'm
yeah,
a geek too. So,
you're
so
like a Comic-Con guy, and it's funny because I never would have ever pictured myself going
neither.
to one of these, and I loved it, and honestly, I can't wait to go back again. I'll go again.
Yeah, I didn't get tickets because I was debating whether or not to go this year, and with the COVID, it worked out well. I actually started going. I went to my first one. If I'm being 100% honest, to laugh at the people, not like haha like you
Yeah.
idiots, but people watch is a better term,
Right,
because
exactly.
but I ended up actually loving it.
Yeah, and
And I've gone to everyone ever since.
and I was
This
the
year
same
counts
thing.
because they got canceled.
And it was funny because we had people, dressed as other people. Like we had Thanos.
People dressed as people.
Yeah, like dressed as other characters.
I'm in the minority. I go with a Batman T-shirt and that's it. But
Well,
everyone dresses up.
I wasn't gonna dress up.
You
but we
dress-
decided to, and I actually am glad I did. I enjoyed
Yeah,
it.
yeah, it's fun.
But we had people, dressed as other characters coming up to us, taking pictures with us, and we got a picture with Thanos.
Nice.
And the guy he looked really good. Like he looked good as a Thanos. He had the costume was fantastic, and we got the picture with him, and it was great. Of Leah, like I said, he put a lot more into the costume than I did. I mean, he was into the character. He
Yeah.
had like little kids coming up to him going, "Oh my God, it's Vegeta!" Getting pictures with him. He was playing slot machines after Comic-Con was over, and he's still dressed in costume, and he's still taking pictures with people. It was awesome. I mean, like I said, I can't wait to go back. I mean, there was some decent people there. I didn't get a chance to get a picture with anybody.
You don't want to be seen there.
What's that?
You didn't want to be seen there.
No, I would have loved to, but I mean, not to mention the fact that they were charging a ridiculous amount of money. Like
They're no Hoist Gracie, that's for sure.
what's that?
They're no Hoist Gracie.
No,
That's for sure.
no, and Hoist will take a picture for free, which is even better. So yeah, I'm hoping to start a line of Hoist Gracie pictures myself now through
Yeah,
the year,
Yeah,
or
absolutely.
through the events.
I seem to find him every time I go. So.
You do, and that's
I've never
impressive.
not gotten to want to have a picture with him. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, and that's why I was surprised because you were just like so matter of fact. I walked right by him.
Yeah.
So I was just.
I was like, by the way, that's Hoist.
I was focused on. I was focused on the task at hand. I wanted a Dunkin' Donuts
right,
coffee.
Right. That's right, because we went upstairs. for
Yeah, I
coffee.
was like, I'm dying for a coffee right now
Yeah.
because I had just got there and we were just wasting the afternoon, waiting for the fights, and just the fact that you saw him again was just amazing.
I thought my luck was running out. I'm like, this will be the one time I don't. see
Yeah.
it. Now that I've like fake bragged about how Hoist Gracie is following me, I'm never going to see him again. And,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
we walk right by him, not on purpose. And it was only because of that place not having what we wanted that it happened.
That's
we
right.
didn't intend to
I
go to
couldn't eat
Dunkin'.
there. It was
Yes, that's
the
what
damn
it was.
gluten-free
You
kid.
couldn't. I knew they weren't out of anything. Well,
No, it
they
was
had extra
the
gluten.
gluten-free
You couldn't
kid.
do
It
it.
was
That's
the
right.
stupid, nerdy, gluten-free kid that he couldn't,
And
couldn't eat
we
here.
had to go to Dunkin' Donuts
That's
or
right.
Starbucks, and you couldn't have lost because he was at Starbucks,
Yeah.
and we walked right by it. To
Yeah,
go.
I mean, I prefer Dunkin' Donuts. I know
Yeah.
everyone's different, but I just think the coffee at Starbucks is gross. And I know I'm this whole podcast. I don't think I'm making any friends because I know there's going to be people.
I'm your
going,
friend, Larry.
Oh my God! Thank you. I appreciate it. Oh my God, he said stuff about Tom Brady, and now he's dissing Starbucks.
You gotta have an opinion. We're talking.
I agree with you.
This is the conversation we'd have whether the mic's on our hands or not.
Yeah, I
So-
completely agree.
That's what I want it to be. I want it to be a conversation. I don't want it to be an interview where I say, "Gee, Larry, it's."
I'm not interesting enough to be interviewed, so
I just want to talk. If people
I'm
don't
definitely
like
not.
it, they don't
I'm
like it.
definitely not interested in interesting enough to be interviewed. So yeah, I mean, just regular conversation.
Now we did start with where did we start? I forget, but we ended up
We
going.
started talking sports.
We did sport. Well, we did sports, but then when I tried to steer from sports, we went to Simpsons, to Comic Con, to blah blah. Now, what Comic Con did you go to? Because there are many Comic Cons. The mother of all Comic Cons being San Diego,
It wasn't even called Comic Con. It was called
and it was at Mohegan, right?
Yes, and I forget the name of it. I actually have the ticket stub on my wall in my man cave at home next to a Jason Voorhees and Michael Myers mask with pictures that I got from there. Because I mean, I'm not. I wouldn't say like I'm a huge horror fan, but I love
I thought you were.
basically Friday the 13th, like the original Jasons and Michael Myers. I mean,
Who's the
Michael
killer in
Myers
the
is
first
one of
one?
my favorite. What's that?
Who was the killer on the first Friday the 13th?
It was the mother,
Ah, nice,
Jason's mom.
nice.
And I don't know if I would have survived in Scream or not, but Drew Barrymore got that question wrong.
She did. She said Jason Voorhees, right?
Yeah, she
Yeah,
said Jason.
it's not Jason.
And the killer said, no, you were wrong. It is Jason's mother, and her boyfriend got killed at that part. So, but yeah, I mean, I love the classics. So I have a picture, and by the way, the guy that played the new Jason in like the 2011 movie was there.
Kane Hopper. or
No,
something?
Kane Hodder. He played a lot of.
He's the-
he played a lot of the other ones.
Okay.
And Kane Hodder is probably.
Hodder.
He's like one of the most. I would say he's probably the most famous Jason. But
Despite my calling him Kate Hopper.
yeah, K Hopper. What's his name? K Hopper.
K Hopper, something.
Something like that. But so yeah, like the new Jason was there, and he's like, oh, I got a nice. There was a guy there that does drawings, and I guess I can't remember his name, but I guess he was like a
Bill.
Bill Lewis
Smithers.
or something like that.
Bill
But-
Lewis.
But he was like, he's good at sketches, and he had a Jason one, and he had a Michael Myers one. So I bought both of them. They were like $5 a piece, and he's like, oh well, the guy that plays Jason in the newest movies over there, and maybe you should go get this autographed. I'm like, yeah, that's great. And he's like, yeah, he only charges like $80, and I'm like,
Yo.
he's not even. He's the
He's not even the third best Jason.
Yeah, he's like the guy that played in the new one. It's like it would be like getting an autograph from the Michael Myers from the Rob Zombie Halloween. It's not even the same.
No, it's really not.
So
It's really not.
the Michael Myers mask that I actually have is from the newest one, which was the original Michael Myers, by the way,
Who's that?
from the
I don't-
first one.
I don't know anything
but
about
he's an old guy now. You're not like a fan of any of that kind of
No,
stuff.
no, I'm a fan of Friday the 13th.
Oh, yeah.
Somewhat Elm Street, but I never got into Halloween.
Really?
Yeah.
Michael Myers is one of my favorite characters as far as like.
I liked him in So I
he
Met
was
an
just-
Axe Murderer.
Yes, and he was great on Saturday Night Live.
So underrated.
I agree with you, completely agree. But
Who'd win in a fight? Jason? I know the movie's been done. No, Jason and Mike Myers who'd win in a fight.
I would have to say Jason, just because he's come back to life so many times. But though I have to say
He
Michael
went to outer
Myers,
space and kicked ass.
Michael Myers is pretty badass.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say he came back to life, but he survived a lot of crap too.
What's his mask?
What's that?
Who's his mask?
That would be William Shatner.
Yes, it will. See, that stuff I know. That crap I know because
Yeah.
I live on IMDb.
William Shatner. Yes,
That's a good question.
it's a great question.
I like it.
But
I was gonna
I
ask you
think-
something else, but I forget. But keep going, Larry.
Getting way off base again. I think it was Infocon. It was called.
Oh, all right.
So yeah, it was at Mohegan Sun. It was a little little room that you go through, and they had the guy that played the guy that is the real life Peter Griffin was there.
Wait, you mean the voice?
No, like there's a real life guy.
He goes to all the Comic Cons.
Yeah, and he's Peter Griffin.
I've
It's
yeah,
like
I've seen-
in
I've
real
seen it.
life.
Yeah, 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 I've seen
And
it.
the guy, he's got the voice down, and it was hysterical.
He's only got one job. Of
That's
course he got the
right,
voice down.
and that's all he does.
He goes to all of them. I saw him in Rhode Island and Boston. Oh,
Yeah.
Boston, not Rhode Island.
And so he was there. Billy D. Williams was there. And I'm trying to.
Was
but-
Momoa there? Momoa didn't go to that one, did
Who
he?
was it?
Momoa?
No. But I think I'm trying to think of who. Oh, Val Kilmer was there
Why?
because he played a Batman.
True. Yeah.
A lot of people probably don't remember
he
that.
is a Batman.
Do you think he was the worst Batman?
I actually like them all. See, to me, it's not you.
I
You're
have
shaking
one
your head.
bad one that I did not like.
Who is it?
George Clooney.
See, I'll disagree with you, and I'll tell you. Well, tell me why. Tell me why you say that first, and I'll.
I just thought he was terrible.
All right, but see, here's my thing. Okay, I think anybody can play Batman. Anybody can play Batman. How are you at being Bruce Wayne? I think Clooney is the typical Bruce Wayne, the millionaire playboy.
I'll give you that. Maybe it's because I just don't like George Clooney.
Oh, well, you probably it is. Yes.
I've waited till the end to throw that in there.
Yeah, you did.
I mean, I'm not a Val Kilmer fan either, but I
didn't
thought
think he
that
was bad.
I just I didn't think Val Kilmer was bad either.
No.
Who's your favorite?
Oh, see, no, I'm gonna go against the grain. I thought Affleck was fantastic as Bruce Wayne.
Okay, so you're just going based on Bruce
because
Wayne.
anybody can.
I
I could be Batman.
I like Michael Keaton.
Oh, Michael Keaton was great.
Loved Michael Keaton.
He was great, but I thought Affleck, because Affleck played the older Bruce Wayne. Again, like I said.
Again, I just don't like Ben Affleck.
Okay, so who do you like? Do you like anybody?
I really don't. I like you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I mean we're friends. But yeah, I mean I there's a lot of people I don't like.
What about Christian Bale? Most people think Christian Bale's the best Batman.
Christian Bale was good, but I just couldn't stand when he's Batman and it sounded like he swallowed the whole thing of battery acid.
Yeah, I didn't get the voice thing. I don't understand that.
I couldn't stand it.
Keaton didn't do that, did he? I'm Batman. No,
No,
he just kind of
he
whispered.
talked very low.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
he was cool as a cucumber, man.
Yeah, he was.
Michael Keaton was.
Hey, I didn't even wave to that person. I usually do.
Yeah, Michael Keaton. I thought Michael Keaton to me was the best Batman.
Yeah. That's not a bad choice. I like Kilmer. I like them all, but I just thought for what it was, I liked Affleck. But again, I go by Bruce Wayne, like you said, because put the mask on me. I could be Batman. You don't know. Robert Pattinson. He's going to be the Batman.
I can't see it. I just can't.
I can't either. But they say he's great. I'm going to watch
That's
it.
good. I mean, I'm going to give him a chance. I'm not going to completely just crap on him without seeing him. But I could tell you.
Well, you have to see him to crap on
After
him.
3 minutes, I'm going to be like, nope, sucks.
I'm out. Good day.
I'm trying to think of like who else would be like a good.
See, I
like a
can't
good-
pick one, and that's my whole thing. Is like if you can't come up with someone better,
Like I don't know, Mark Wahlberg,
would he?
like Boston Batman.
Hey, Catwoman, how's your mother doing?
Yeah, exactly. Say hi to your mother for me.
I mean, what?
Hey, Catwoman, you're a cat.
Look at you. You're a cat. What? Look at the penguin. What? Now, who's your favorite villain?
Man, I thought Danny DeVito was great as Penguin. Jack Nicholson, you gotta love
Yeah,
Jack.
come on.
Gotta love Jack. I know probably who wasn't one of my favorites was Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze.
Why? Come on.
Exactly.
That I love. See, but that.
Get to the freeze chamber.
But see, I don't think that movie was meant to be serious.
I don't know.
I thought it was supposed to be campy,
You're
like the
probably
'60s
right.
show.
I just thought it was terrible.
What about? How about this? I'll go way back. How about Vincent Price as Egghead?
Oh, so you're going back
well,
to
hey,
the,
Adam
to
West
the
was
episode.
sure. Those were great.
I used
Burgess
to like.
Meredith. Wah, wah,
Yeah,
wah, wah.
I liked. I thought the Riddler and the Joker were great. Was it Omar Moreno that played the Joker?
Caesar Romero. Yes,
Caesar.
Caesar.
He was
Caesar
great.
Romero was fantastic.
He was he was great as a Joker.
And Frank Gorshin was the Riddler.
Yeah, and I thought the Riddler was great back then
And
too.
for the Catwoman, it was Lee Meriwether,
There was a couple different.
Eartha Kitt, and I think there was three, but I don't know. I never know.
I thought Eartha Kitt was great as Catwoman.
They both were great. Yeah, I
Yeah.
thought. But I think Lee Meriwether was in the movie. That,
Yeah. Yep. I think you're right.
But Egghead was Vincent Price. I forget who King Tut was.
Oh, I can't remember. I remember King Tut the character, but I forget who played him.
Yeah, they had some crazy villains back there because
They
it was
did.
campy. And I think that's what Batman and Robin was supposed to be. Like.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And so that's why you had, if you like, remember the scene where they were like sledding or roller skating or something like that. Like that was just the ridiculousness that I think they were trying to achieve, but people
Yeah.
just didn't buy it.
Oh no,
But they had Chris O'Donnell, Alicia Silverstone.
Yeah, I thought she was. Every time when I saw her in that movie, I thought she was just going to break out in a Clueless.
I was hoping she would
Yeah.
in a little musical. Who else? Nicole Kidman was Poison Ivy. Was she in that one?
Was it?
Oh, Uma
wasn't
Thurman.
Uma
Uma Thurman.
Thurman was
That's what it was.
Poison Ivy, and she
Yes.
was in that one. Yes.
Uma Thurman. Yeah, there was a
That
great
was
cast.
a terrible Batman. And I'm not saying
I agree
I'm
with
not
you.
an Uma Thurman fan because I thought she was fantastic in Kill Bill.
Oh yeah, she killed Bill a bunch of times.
Oh
didn't she?
yeah, she was good for her getting her revenge. But
Yeah.
but yeah, Volume 1 and 2, Kill Bill, loved it.
Yeah, it was great.
But yeah, I just thought that Batman just didn't do it for me.
What's your favorite Batman movie?
There's a couple of them, but it's
You can only go home and watch one. What is it?
the one where Heath Ledger was the Joker.
Okay. So you chose the Christian Bale one.
Yeah.
Now, what do you think about Jude Law getting? Was it Jude Law? Jude Law played the Joker in the.
No,
Not Jude
that was
Law.
not Jude Law, and I
Who
can't
am I
remember his
thinking of?
name. Oh my God, this is gonna drive me nuts.
Not Jude Law. You're right.
It was not Jude Law. Leto, Jared Leto.
Oh. Yes, I had the initials right.
Yes,
Jay Leno. He was the Joker.
Jay Leto.
Yeah, Jared Leto. He was. They say he got screwed. He got all cut. All his stuff was cut on the floor and left.
Yeah.
And even Suicide Squad. They're all miserable about that. And they're saying that's why the DC films took a different direction. Yeah. But I saw. Did you see? Is it It's called The Joker. No, it's just called
I
Joker.
have not seen it yet.
It's pretty good.
I heard it was really good. I don't know why I didn't want to see it. I heard Joaquin Phoenix was fantastic in it. I'm just not a fan.
Of Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not. I don't want to give anything away. I wouldn't anyways. I hate spoilers, but it's not. It's a different Joker film.
Yeah,
You know that.
I've heard of what happens in the movie.
Oh, seriously?
Someone spoiled it for me.
Oh, that stinks.
But I mean, I still want to see it, even
Yeah.
though I know what's going to happen.
It's worth seeing, definitely.
Oh yeah, but yeah, I haven't seen it. I still want to see it. It's on the list of movies that I want to see. I just I haven't got around. I'm not a fan of his, but I heard he was incredible.
He
in that
was. He
movie.
was really good.
But yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward. When I see it, we'll definitely catch up with that. But I have not seen that yet.
What's next on the list? I want to wrap. We've been here.
For movies,
Yeah.
I was looking forward to the next Venom. I was looking forward to Venom 2.
Oh, I know. Me too.
But there is I think there's a new Halloween coming out this year. Halloween, I believe it's called Halloween Kills.
It's not called Halloween 13.
No,
You sure? Because it should be.
positive.
Okay.
But it's funny because the last Halloween movie was supposed to be the last one.
That's what I thought.
And they slaughtered the other Halloween movies because they just kicked them all out like they never existed.
But let me ask you this. Now Saw did this too. They announced that
There's a new Saw coming out.
That's my point.
Chris
is that
Rock.
They announced. Is that true?
He's producing it.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he's a huge fan of it, and I guess he jumped in there and he took it over. And I actually saw a trailer for it, and it looks great.
really?
Yeah,
But see, that's. I think when you announce it, this is the last one. Everyone's going to go see it.
Yeah.
So of course it's going to smash records.
Yep.
You've already said this is the last time. How many farewell tours has Cher gone on? Because
I
they
know.
sell out everywhere because they think this is their last chance
she
to see
still
her.
thinks she can turn
Just
back time.
kidding. We're turning back time. We're doing it again. I mean, you would not. It has to be the last one. Because you'll never replicate what you just did.
Yeah.
I saw the last Saw. You know why? Because I saw.
I saw
Saw. Seesaw. I actually kind of like this. Some of them are
You like the
ridiculous.
Saw
but
series?
I saw the Saw series. I liked it. And I see Saw. Do you see Saw? I saw Saw. And I watched the last one. I thought the last one was pretty good. And then when they said, "Oh, now it did so well, we're going to do another one," I'm like, did you just bait me in? Because I mean,
I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, I stopped watching the Saw movies. Like,
so you didn't see Saw?
I saw the first, I believe, like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And then I stopped watching them.
They were awful after a while.
But I do want to see the new one. I want to see what Chris Rock does. I like Chris Rock. I believe he's actually going to play in the movie. He produces it and he plays a character in the movie. I think he plays a cop. and I'm actually looking forward to what it's going to be like now.
Yeah, I'll watch it. Too,
But like I said, that this Halloween movie, the last one that came out in 2018, they cut out part 2 through 6. I believe there was 6 of them.
we're not going to acknowledge it.
And then, of course, there was H2O, and then there was the last one was it Resurrection, the one where it actually took place in a it was like a house. It was supposed to be they went back to the old Myers house, and it was supposed to be like a live show, like one of those reality shows.
Oh, okay.
And it took place, and of course, it went bad. But
Things didn't go well in a Halloween
it did
movie.
not
people?
go. It did not go well. But that was the last one. So they cut all those movies out in this one, and it just took. I think it took place 40 years after the original. Jamie Lee Curtis was back, which I was glad to see, even though she died in one of the movies.
Oh, one of the other ones.
In one of the other ones, she died.
Oh wow.
Yeah, she. It was the last one. She died at the very beginning of the movie, and that never happened. And I was glad to see that she's still alive, and somehow she. When he dropped her, she stabbed her and dropped her off the roof. She survived, and I'm very happy that she did.
Yeah, she was a final girl. That's what they call them, final girls.
Yes.
The one who makes it to the end, and then Friday the 13th would do that. The final girl will get killed
And get
in the
killed,
beginning of
yes.
the next one.
Yes,
It's a pattern. It works.
yeah,
It
I love
worked.
it. Who would have thought that the survivor of part 1 would get the ice pick to the head in part 2?
You never know.
Exactly.
You never know how it's going to work.
But the name of this one, I believe, is Halloween Kills. And they said that, like I was saying, the 2018 one was going to be the last one. So Michael Myers, I don't want to spoil it for everyone, but supposedly he dies.
No one's listening.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you how. Yeah, you're right. Supposedly he dies at the end of this one, but, he's going to make it through.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
And there's 2 more.
Oh.
There's one that's coming out this year if it doesn't get pushed back, and then there's the last one called Halloween Ends. I mean, these are very original titles: Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends.
Give me Halloween. Give me the penultimate Halloween. How about that? Let's do one of those. That way there's only one more. Penultimate's my favorite word, by the way.
Exactly. What is it? What was your favorite?
Penultimate.
Yeah.
Second to last. I'm not insinuating you don't know what that means. I'm just saying that's the word, penultimate.
Okay.
And that's why I made a joke once when Rambo came out, the last Rambo, and I'm like, there's no way Stallone is doing this. Therefore I'm calling it the penultimate Rambo.
I actually like that Rambo.
And I got busted because someone knew that was my favorite word, and she went, "You just like to use that word." I was like, "Yeah, you're right. I did. I definitely did." And you did like the Rambo. I didn't see it yet. I did
like it.
It's on. It looks much like the first Rambo. In that it's the plot. I mean, he's not going to East Oshkosh.
Yeah,
to
I don't
kick
want to give
everyone's
it
ass.
away.
Yeah, don't.
But I actually saw it back around Christmas time on DVD, and I liked it. But I mean, I like Stallone movies. I like all
too.
the ones where he breaks out of jail. I don't know if you ever saw any of those.
Oh,
I can't remember.
Escape. Oh,
Yeah,
Was it-
Escape.
is it just
Those
the
are them.
Escape,
Yeah,
or is
the
it-
ones where the last couple he did with Dave Bautista.
Yeah, he and Arnold did the first one.
Yes, and I love those movies. I like him as an actor. I loved him in Expendables.
Oh,
all the Expendables.
Expendables is great.
Yeah. So I'm a Stallone fan. I always have been. But yeah, I mean, to see him still, killing people and kicking ass at 70
Yeah.
is pretty fantastic.
You know
So-
that commercial he's in when they talk? My wife does a great impression of this Stallone. She won't listen to this either because she hates my podcast. So I can
She doesn't
say
have 5 hours
She
to
doesn't
listen to
have,
this.
yeah, she's got other things to do. When they go, they were talking about the rock or Rocky or something, and they show Chris Rock.
Yes.
He goes, "Who do you expect?" And that was not a Chris Rock impression. That was my voice actually cackling. And he goes, "I don't know, me." My wife does the best impression of that. It's
From that part,
from just him going, "I don't know, me." That's it.
Stallone.
He's great.
But what are you doing for the next, I don't know, 40, 50 years of your life?
See, people think he actually talks like that.
I know.
He's an actor.
Yeah.
That's I hated that. You're such an idiot. It's not how he talks. It's how the character talks.
That's what made him, a good actor.
And he was brilliant in the fact that they offered him they wanted to buy his script and for like low money.
Yeah.
And he goes, "No, I'm good. I'll do it myself. Thanks."
Yeah, absolutely.
He did porn before that.
Yeah, I heard that. Haven't actually seen it, but I heard.
I haven't either.
But
So we got the name of Town Stallion.
there you go.
I think,
Italian Stallion.
from what I heard. I read it somewhere. Bathroom wall.
Bathroom wall.
But I think this has gone on long enough. What do you think? Want to go watch some fights?
Let's go watch some
All
fights.
right. Thank you so much, Larry.
Thank
By
you.
the way, Larry, I'm going to let you know right now. I'm gonna call this episode. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it's the name of a TV show that was absolutely horrendous back in the 70s.
Oh,
And it's going to be
perfect.
it's the perfect title.
Me and Horrendous go hand in hand.
But I decided that today. And when you see it and you go like, what does that even mean? Because it kind of makes sense for the episode, but it's actually a nod to a terrible TV show.
Fantastic.
Thank you, Larry.
Thanks for having me.